Stegosaurus is an iconic dinosaur. You'd probably recognize it from movies like Jurassic Park or The Land Before Time, right? But did you know this famous dino has some very deep connections to Colorado? Joining me this morning is the museum educator coordinator of the Morrison Natural History Museum. I have Marianne Bunnell joining us this morning. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Good morning.
We were just talking all things Stegosaurus
Yes.
and dinosaurs.
Yes.
My son loves dinosaurs.
Of course.
Talk about why Stegosaurus is so important to Colorado.
Well, first of all, it's a Colorado resident, so we know based on direct fossil evidence that Stegosaurus lived here, had kids here, so that's really important to the state of Colorado. But also, fourth graders back in the 80s made the decision to have Stegosaurus be our state fossil.
Well done.
They were challenged to participate in the political process. They proposed a bill, they lobbied for their bill, and 2 years later, Governor Lamb made it so through executive order.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I know, and it makes sense. It's a great Colorado fossil.
All right, so what did you bring today?
I brought some cool things that could actually fit in my car and in my bag. If you come to the museum, you'll get to see more than this. But Stegosaurus is iconic for the features of the plates on the back. Yes. So I've got this example. This is a research grade cast of one of the dermal plates on the back of Stegosaurus. Much discussed what these are for.
Yes. Is it for like heat?
That's been one of the ideas because they're perfused with these blood vessels and neurons and stuff. And so that's one thought, but also not that great because it's a bone. So possibly more for, you know, looking good.
Oh, okay, to attract the others.
You turn to the side and maybe the other boys leave you alone and the girls are like,
look how big my plate is.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
nice.
Exactly.
And you're saying this is actually a small version, right?
This is small. Yeah, this is kind of a smaller plate. They can get much larger than this. And then this is, again, a research grade cast of a Stegosaurus skull. Okay. And this one, when things fossilize, they can get a little smashed and kind of change their shape. So it's not usually looking like this. But in life, if you can imagine this little skull attached to something the size of a small elephant.
Wow. So
their head was relatively small compared to the rest of their body.
Yeah. Is this a vertebrae?
Yes, this is part of the vertebrae, and this just shows you this is where the spinal cord would go. So a nice big animal with a nice strong spine. And our local Stegosaurus at the museum, we have bones on display that are from the very first Stegosaurus ever collected and described by science in North America.
How lucky are we to have that?
We are so lucky. That's our heritage right there. And if you want to come see it, you can see additional parts of the Stegosaurus and how we celebrate this animal as our native to Colorado.
Speaking of, tomorrow is Stegosaurus Day at the museum.
Yes.
Tell us about what's going on there.
Well, Stegosaurus Celebration Day, and we like to celebrate our state fossil, and we, again, have those fossils from the original find in Morrison, Colorado, and we think it's really extraordinary for people to come and see those in person. That's a very grounding experience. And then also learn more about this animal and how it lived here. And we actually, our curator spotted baby Stegosaurus tracks. So if you want to see the cutest thing on earth, it's this little tiny baby Stegosaurus track that equates to a 6-pound hatchling.
Wow.
If you can imagine that, 150 million years ago, this little baby Stegosaurus walking through the mud in Morrison, Colorado.
It is really fascinating,
Yes.
all of this about Stegosauruses. And of course, I love that you brought these props.
Yes.
And this is just a sampling again of what is available
Correct.
at the museum. Stegosaurus Day is Saturday at Morrison Natural History Museum. It lasts from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can grab tickets on the museum's website. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for talking Stegosaurus.
I learned some new things about the plates.
Yes.
Okay. All right.